by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
President Trump and his team of supporters are trying to contain the controversial Fire and Fury book fallout. I'm in Adobo with more on how they're defending the president and his fitness for office.
I'm Kenneth Webb in Belgrade. A tragedy struck Sunday morning at this Belgrade residence behind me. Stay tuned to find out the details.
Good morning and welcome to your Monday. I'm Missy O'Malley, and Chet Lehman will be joining us with our forecast in just a moment. President Trump will spend a good part of the day talking up his administration plans to boost economic development in rural communities. Much of D.C., though, is still talking about the new book that criticizes the president, his staff, and his family. CBS's Hannah Doba has the story from New York.
President Trump is back at the White House after huddling with Republican leaders at Camp David over the weekend. They were discussing the GOP's legislative agenda for 2018, while much of Washington was still talking about Fire and Fury, a new book that's harshly critical of the Trump administration.
The book is best understood as a work of very poorly written fiction.
Allies took to the airwaves to dispute one of the book's key assertions, that most White House staffers have doubts about the president's intelligence and fitness for the job.
I can tell you he's got the wherewithal to do things that no politician's been able to do, and in a good way.
Former chief strategist Steve Bannon is quoted extensively in the book. He used the words treasonous and unpatriotic when describing the Trump campaign's connections with Russia. On Sunday, though, he released a statement taking back some of what he said. Bannon also reaffirmed that his support is, quote, unwavering for the president and his agenda. Some Democrats dismissed the idea that the book is a work of fiction.
I don't think there's anyone in Congress, frankly, of either party, who does not concur, at least privately, with those observations and concerns.
The president is moving on. Today, he'll be in Nashville to speak at a farmers' convention. Tonight, he'll go to Atlanta to watch Georgia play Alabama for the college football championship. Hannah Doba, CBS News, New York.
Now, the president had planned to announce his fake news awards today, but in a tweet he said the losers will instead be unveiled on Wednesday, January 17th. So there you have it there.
Yep.
Top news, talking a little bit about the mild, almost warm weather this morning.
Yeah, there is a downside with that, though. Some places seeing some wind out there. You can see on satellite and radar, not a lot happening for the most part. But for our friends to the east, Livingston to Big Timber, 61-mile-an-hour gust reported a little bit ago in Livingston. In that 40-mile-an-hour gust of wind range out towards Big Timber. If you're driving along the I-90 corridor this morning or planning to, two hands on the wheel, it is going to be a little western out there. 40-mile-an-hour gusts in Ennis this morning. It's currently 34 there. You can kind of see it. The places with those temperatures into the 30s, that's where the wind is blowing. Cloud cover there as well. A little warmer in West Yellowstone, a little cooler in Butte and Bozeman. We're all going to see a little moisture by the time we get into the middle of the week. Not today, though. Some sunshine, mid-30s for the most part, maybe even some 40s for Butte. Stick around. Detailed forecast in 10 minutes.
Thank you, Chet. Now 6:31, our top local story for you now. One person is dead and another is injured after a Sunday morning shooting in Belgrade. Kenneth Webb reports what police have to say and have the person in custody as well.
I'm here on the 1300 block of Idaho Street, where one person has died after police responded to reports of gunshots Sunday morning. I spoke with Belgrade Police Chief E.J. Clark in an exclusive interview to find out what happened.
Just before 9 a.m. this morning, we received a call of incident at 1300 block of Idaho Street. Belgrade officers and Gallatin County Sheriff's deputies arrived. We found two individuals that appeared to be injured from gunshot wounds. One of those individuals has passed away. The other one has been taken to the hospital for treatment. Still working on that, waiting to find out what that result's going to be.
According to Chief Clark, the time of this incident is still unknown.
With a homicide scene, it's busy, takes a long time, it's long drawn out. So the officers are working, and that's where we're at right now.
The Belgrade Police Department has a suspect in custody.
Through the officers' efforts, we've come up with a suspect who's in custody, and that aspect's being worked right now, so we feel pretty confident that the public's safe at this point.
MTN News was there as the body was being wheeled out from the house and into the coroner's vehicle. The victims and the suspect have not yet been identified. Chief Clark also mentions that, as we all know, these are difficult cases and take a great deal of time and effort to investigate correctly. This homicide investigation is ongoing. We will continue to update this story as we learn more information. Reporting from Belgrade, Kenneth Webb, MTN News.
In other news, on this Monday morning, an earthquake shook the area near Lincoln on Sunday afternoon. There were no reports of injuries or major damage. The quake initially was measured by the U.S. Geological Survey as a magnitude 3.6, but later was upgraded to a magnitude of 3.9. It happened just after noon on Sunday, depth of about 6.7 miles. Now, this is all according to the USGS. The quake was centered at 6.7 miles southwest of Lincoln and about 41 miles west or northwest of Helena. Now, on July 6th of last year, Montana experienced its largest earthquake in more than 10 years with a 5.8 magnitude quake that hit about 5 miles southeast of Lincoln. And the Montana Highway Patrol reported in the last month 5 troopers were involved in crashes that were not their fault. On the Montana Highway Patrol Facebook page, the agency also added that there was major patrol cars that was nearly in a sideswiped on Friday when he was investigating another crash. Now, luckily, there was no major injuries, but in some cases, troopers were in their cars when they were struck. Montana Highway Patrol said that these crashes were all caused by people driving irresponsibly, adding to the problem that the cost of the damage to the patrol cars as well. According to the Highway Patrol, these crashes cost taxpayers thousands of dollars since the vehicles involved either needed to be repaired or replaced altogether. Montana Highway Patrol says that there are easy ways to avoid these situations. You should always have appropriate tires on your car. Make sure you slow down, follow at a greater distance. Make sure that your vehicle windows are cleaned off and cleared. Your headlights are on. This is all to avoid limited visibility. Never drive under the influence as well. You should also stay home if law enforcement recommends it, unless it is an emergency. And always remember to buckle up and slow down for emergency vehicles. And this type of weather is perfect for skijoring. The Lewis and Clark Fairgrounds had their first skijoring competition over the weekend. It's a duo sport where a teammate rides a horse while the other is holding onto a rope connected to that horse and skiing. MTN's Lindsay Ford has more.
The stands and sidelines were packed with onlookers to see these skijorers. Horses will run top speed, pulling someone on skis behind them.
Faster they go!
110 skijoring teams race Saturday in Helena. It's Lewis and Clark Fairgrounds' first skijoring competition.
We're overwhelmed by the number of people that have come out and supported this event. I'm not an expert crowd counter, but I'd say probably over 2,000 anyways.
Mark LaRoe is co-chairman for the Last Chance Skijoring Race to the Gold.
We hang out with the same people every weekend, and so we've made some really great friendships and met a lot of cool people along the way. So it's kind of like a rodeo circuit, and we just do it in the wintertime.
Husband and wife Peter and Anna Jessen said this is their second year competing.
The rush, yeah.
Couples that play together stay together. So it's just a good time to hang out.
Keeps the horses busy, and I say anytime you can combine 2 sports.
Personally, Saturday was my first time learning about this fast-paced winter sport. One thing I learned is competitors should keep their mouths closed during the race.
They are dodging snowballs that the horses fly up from when they're running. They get snowballs and manure and all that good stuff that they are. So the skiers got to do a lot of dodging, keep their mouth closed, and stay focused, pay attention.
Melissa Ostrander, or her friends call her Mo, says she's been riding horses since forever and skijoring for 6 years now.
Track is fast, it's fun, and it's open up your horse and let them go all day long. Horses are my legs, so you gotta keep them good.
Lindsay Ford, MTN News, Helena.
Now that competition wrapped up on Sunday. Some great highlights there. Stay with us. Coming up after a quick break, we have your next episode for your Under the Big Sky series. A unique group comes together to create something extraordinary. But first, a look at your headlines coming up at 7 right here on CBS.
Good morning. Ahead here on CBS this morning, the most memorable moments from the Golden Globes, including Oprah's empowering speech. ET's Kevin Frazier was backstage and on the red carpet with Hollywood's biggest response yet to the sexual harassment scandals. Plus, Michael Wolff, the author of Fire and Fury, is right here in Studio 57. We'll see you at 7.